now on a graphic video for the next story we are following. Tensions are high in Minneapolis between demonstrators and federal officers after local police identified Alex Jeffrey Bloodworth as a 37-year-old who died in hospital after he was shot by federal immigration officers in Minneapolis. We are only showing you a portion of the video of the incident due to its graphic nature. According to Associated Press, a U.S. Department of Homeland Security official said Bloodworth had a gun with 2 magazines and had approached officers. Officials say Bloodworth was an American citizen who lived in Minneapolis. Today's shooting comes 2 weeks after 37-year-old Renee Good was shot dead by an ICE agent. Officials in Minnesota say the federal agents are causing chaos, not keeping people safe, and are calling on the Trump administration to call off the immigration enforcement operation.
Our message is really clear and straightforward. We need ICE out of Minnesota. They are not making us more safe. As the tragic killing this morning, as people saw it viscerally on that video, shows us they are making us less safe.
U.S. President Trump is commenting on today's shooting and throwing blame on Minneapolis Mayor, that's Jacob Frey, and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz for their rhetoric. In a social media post, Trump accused Walz and Frey of, quote, inciting insurrection with their pompous, dangerous and arrogant rhetoric. Trump called the pair sanctimonious political fools that should be looking for the money that he claims has been stolen from Minnesotans and other Americans. Trump also questioned why local police officers weren't allowed to protect ICE officers, saying Frey and Walz called them off. And earlier today, Frey said the city of Minneapolis would file a declaration calling on a judge to issue a temporary restraining order that would stop the ICE operation. Trump has deployed 3,000 ICE agents to the Minneapolis area as part of his immigration crackdown. Officials say federal agents outnumber local police by 5 to 1. Jeffrey Bloodworth, political analyst, Canon University, joins us now. Jeffrey, good evening and thanks for your time. Let me start with your initial thoughts on how this fatal shooting is playing out. Unfortunately, it looks all too familiar.
It is only going to make a fraught and very dangerous situation even more so. I spoke with a protester today in the Twin Cities, and they said it felt like being punched in the gut. This is dangerous. We haven't seen the likes of this in America since 1968.
Wow. Let's talk about how we're listening to federal officials, local officials, state officials, clashing narratives, a complete trust deficit. How politicized all of this has become, unfortunately. Tell us about the impact this is actually having.
Well, I think it's going to lead to a government shutdown. Let's just start there. Democrats were going to grudgingly give votes to keep the federal government open, but now they're not going to vote for the new kind of continuing resolution. So we're probably going to have a federal shutdown. This is going to work slowly through the courts, trying to get a federal injunction to have ICE removed from Minneapolis, if that were even possible. That's not going to happen quickly. It is, it could not be more political. And we're going to have, state investigations. And they're going to have one set of facts, and the federal officials are going to have another set of facts.
Yeah.
And even though the phone recording, I think it makes it fairly clear, what happened, which contradicts what the president and the White House is saying.
You know, you spoke about the government shutdown, but speaking of ICE and these unfortunate deaths that have happened, protests in several cities across America against ICE, what role do you think all of this political polarization is going to play later in the year, in the midterms? Well,
President Trump, Republicans understand there's a blue wave coming, and they understand that they're most likely going to lose the House. And this is President Trump's way of trying to change the subject from the economy, which is what is going to cause the Republicans to lose the House and maybe the Senate. And so why President Trump is causing all of this violence and chaos in American cities is kind of a Hail Mary pass in an attempt to change the political narrative, because he doesn't want, in his final 2 years in office, to have the Democrats in charge of the House investigating him and exercising constitutional oversight, which the Republicans in Congress just refuse to do. So I expect more chaos, because President Trump understands that the midterms are not going to go well, and he's trying to change the subject from Epstein and the economy to something else.
And what would that look like, something else?
I think what he's trying to do is he's trying to get Republicans excited and to turn out, because, you know, what President Trump is doing about, quote unquote, the border. I mean, this was an issue that worked for him in 2024. And President Trump, Republicans don't win when President Trump is not on the ticket. He's not on the ticket in 26. Republican turnout is going to lag. And I believe what Trump is trying to do is try to excite his base by making in their minds, the Democrats look like, anti-police and pro-immigration.
Right.
Because he understands it's all about turnout in 26, and Republicans don't turn out when he's not on the ballot.
All right. We'll have to leave it at that, but we appreciate that analysis. Jeffrey Bloodworth, thank you for your time.
Thank you.